Hello, this is first date 11:44, back at the flats. So, just concluded seeing a friend at a hospital today in the ER. Uh, hmm, I'm not a fan of the ERs. I've worked in them. So this is my conclusion after being in the ER for about 3.5, almost 4 hours, is there's a reason you have a medical doctor, like a main physician, okay? I'd never had to actually have one until I exited medical. And even though I've exited medical, I still don't, I know I'm 37 going on 40, right? But I don't really need one because I have good health, okay? Now, who's to say that you don't need a regular, physician? Nobody knows that. But I've been in medical since 17, 37 now. So I can kind of pull that off. But, however, I would not actually want to be going to the ER for some bull-ish and sitting there for, she was there way prior to me showing up and wanted me to be her advocate and this and that, which is great. Okay, fine. And I'll come and I'll do this because, there's things there. However, you need a main medical doctor, okay? Like, ever since I think Obamacare came into effect, you have had to have insurance, whether provided insurance through federal, state, government and stuff, and you must have a main medical doctor that you see. Yet we have so few medical doctors. Okay. I'm looking back right now because when I was coming to this spot, I saw, not gonna say, this person that I used to date on a side-by-side, but I was like, oh shit, hopefully it doesn't come down here. Okay. It doesn't matter if he does or not. So, back at the ranch, these things are important to have. So I sat there and we're just waiting for like a basic, I'm not gonna say what it is, but it's just a basic thing that we do in the ER, right? And so it takes about, another hour and 45 minutes to get this done after being looked at and stuff like that. And it doesn't matter if so-and-so is classified she as like, this and that. They're having pain, they're this. But the main message that I wanted to say was the fact that it does benefit you to have a main medical doctor, family doctor, practice, this and that, somebody that you have. The problem with society right now at this time, and a lot of people are finding this the issue, especially in the geriatric community, is there are no doctors that are open for more patients to take on in family practice. Yeah. So we got a problem here too. Okay. I could write a book on that. I don't have time to write a book right now. I'm doing other things that actually make wealth for me. But people need to open these thought forms up. They need to open these discussions up. So me coming out of medical, and I don't really need a medical doctor, right? Because I already know everybody in the medical industry up here, and it's a very small, tight-knit group. If I need something for whatever, I can just call, I have friends. But at the same time, I pay for it out of pocket, okay? And I have an HSA, health savings account, which my dad told me to get a long time ago. Nobody wanted to put into this thing. And me just working at a company for almost 5 years made $7,000 because I put into it every paycheck the max amount. Now, an HSA, I thought, was at the end of the year, if you didn't use it, then you had to give money away. and you just bite the bullet there. Nope. HSA is a health savings account that you have forever, and is also exempt as long as you don't take the money out of it. So if I needed a surgery, let's say that I'm going up KGB, this road, the most dangerous road in the world. It was labeled one of the most dangerous roads in the world because of the fatality rate when I was in Kansas. They're trying to fix it, but I don't think they're getting very far here. If I died on that, or I like had a problem, and that life flight, from here to Anchorage is going to cost me like 10 grand. Boom, you can use my HSA account to life flight me to Anchorage. So I'm super congested, you guys. It's been raining off and on, and it's like sunny off and on. Super congested. Probably doesn't help that I used like some bug spray on me, because the mosquitoes are coming out, the mosquitoes. However, that is something that I can always use, and it always carries over. Okay, so there's that. However, I realized, and I've worked in several ERs, which is 3. That's several. That's more than 2. And Truman is no joke. St. Mary's Hospital in Lee Summit, and then, North Case. So we have people who are flooding into ERs here in Alaska who have no primary medical doctor, because we have no doctors. This is like what I was saying before. We have no police officers, EMS. I would never go back into EMS unless I was working at, J-Bear or something like that, and I was a flight, medic. Then okay, I'll go back into EMS. I would. But today, no, I would not. Because the amount of knowledge that I was taught a very long time ago in my early 20s is no longer conducive towards the money grab. So, and I'm not dissing on medical. It's very important to know the body. I think that they should bring back anatomy in high schools and in junior high. Instead of teaching whether or not you're a male or a female or a butterfly or a freaking, whatever you want to be called. Let's all just be, a unicorn. No. Let's just learn basic things that happens to the body over time. Let's learn how to eat, how to diet. The food pyramid is not even accurate, okay? And when we have high inflation with food, this is another conversation, I probably should just shut up right now. Then you make poorer choices. Stuff with poison in it and this and that. You might as well be a rat. You might as well be an ant and be putting out rat poison for us. So, small groups of people cook for their families. And our family unit has been completely, like, what happened to it? Single moms, single dads, the singleness. And when you do have a mother and a father within a home environment, a family unit, there is both that are having to work here. And they're having babies at the same time, and they're trying to raise their children. What, Belinda? Okay? We need to talk about that too. But I don't need to talk about that. I just saw in the ER a lot of things. It's been a long time since I've been in an ER. And I'm so happy that I actually went there for my friend. You know why? I could hear everybody else's conversation outside of our room. I could hear all of it. And it's supposed to be HIPAA violation, this and that. Everybody should be quiet, this and that. The door should be shut, this and that. We shouldn't be hearing other people's conversations. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Why was I? Why was the patient hearing all these things? I just was in there for a few hours. taken over. You know, just talking to my really good friend. Okay. And I can hear everybody else's bullshit. Now I'm gonna turn them. No, I'm not gonna do that, because they're probably just stupid. Okay, they probably just don't even understand that everything echoes and this and that. And the door was always like cracked open in our room, and so then everything echoes. Well, then you got a problem with the structure of the freaking hospital. Because if I can hear this and everybody coming through, and I can hear the conversation between doctor, nurse, and patient, we got a problem with HIPAA violation, don't we? Okay, so that's about all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go on a walk now. It's like not fun. This is why I don't go to the ER for anything, unless I have like a compound fracture. Okay, where a bone is sticking out, that's a compound. Okay, like somewhere in my body. I am not. Okay, I'm not doing that. The ER is only used for EMS, stuff. Truman Hospital was actually the best hospital I ever went to when I was EMT 1, 2, and then medic. Okay, they were the best. We had the worst injuries. It was trauma level like 4-star. Okay, it was high star trauma level, and so we called it Death Bay when we pulled in our truck. And it would take us to get back staged in our truck. We would have to like spray. These are power washer sprays because of blood everywhere in the back of these EMS trucks that I worked in. Okay. A lot of people don't want to talk about that. So when I created the post previously, and I said, we need to fine people $1,000, for wasting police and EMS times and sergeants' time to make scenes safe. I'm very serious about that, because time is what? Life. I'm gonna get off this, and I'm gonna go ahead and go enjoy the wild roses, by the way, that we just had blossom. Here, I'll show you. Hold on. So there they are. And so I'm gonna go enjoy those. And then, the cloud cover came in. Whatever. Who cares, right? Cloud cover probably gonna help me. But I'm gonna go on a walk. But that's just food for thought. I might not post this. All good in the hood. Not in the hood, thank God. But it's the reality of, why are you using a freaking ER as a main medical doctor? Why? They have more things to do than take care of somebody and have them sit in the room because you're not top priority. It's called triage for a reason. Okay? That's all I have.